we killed about it. The address was Klein Faulkner, Nahe Zammerau, Kreuz Rosenberg, West Preußen.
Oh, good heavens! Where was that?
That's where they lived.
Oh, wow. Okay, now.
My folks came from Germany,
Mhm.
and they joined the German Lutheran Church in Marshfield. They moved to Marshfield. And I lived in Marshfield till I was 21 years old when I come to Evanston. But you're not interested in that.
Now say that again.
Huh?
Say that again. That was the old feudal system.
Well, yeah, I mean for uh, where Pelma's father lived, or parents lived. That Pelma's father's parents,
Mm-hmm.
and they were living on a feudal system, and the landlord was named Hegney, so they assumed that name.
Oh.
And their original name, I don't know, I think was Tarleson.
Towson?
Tarleson.
It could have been something like that. I thought I had everything down. But here,
Grandpa's name was Gulak.
that was his first name or last name?
Last name.
Was it on your mother's side?
On my father's side. Gulak. So then he got to be Gulak T. Hegney. Dad, Tarald Hegney. And
That was your dad's name,
dad's
Tarl.
name. He was born on May the 9th in 1871. Died September the 10th, 1935. Mother, Bertha J. Kivley Hegney, born November the 28th, 1874. Children, Molly, born January the 27th, 1895. Died June the 4th, in 1965. Gilbert Hegney, born April the 24th, 1876, died March the 27th, 1966. Gaylord Hegney, born March the 12th, 1898, died March the 3rd, 1975. Otis Hegney, born October the 28th, 1899, died April the 29th, 1964. Benny Hegney, born in July the 29th, 1901, died April the 27th, 1973. Pelma Hegney, born April the 6th, 1903. Grandma Oslug T. Hegney, born October 17th, 1848. Martin Hegney, born September the 8th, 1905. Died March the 24th, 1974. Tressie Hegney, born August the 29th, 1907. Albert Hegney, born November the 27th, 1909. Wilma Hegney, born October the 22nd, 1911. It says Selmer Hegney, born October the 31st, 1913. Leonard Hegney, born March 8th, 1916, died December the 25th, 1969. Dewey Hegney, born August the 5th, 1918. Reuben Louis Hegney, born January the 9th, 1921, died February the 8th, 1923. Good Grandpa Gulak and Grandma Aslig,
How do you spell that?
Aslaug, came to USA in 1876. Their children born in Telemark, Norway. That was their children before they were born in Norway. That's my dad and this is a card from Telemark, Norway. Alma and Ernest went there in July 1984. Varner, their name is Varner. They went there and they said that the old home place has a different house on it, but it was built in the same spot. And when I got Bill's Fred Laschinski, he was born October the 25th, 1869. It's Bill's father, and died February the 11th, 1942. And then when we
Then your mother was Augusta Hine, right?
Augusta Hine, she was an orphan.
Oh.
Her father and mother, during the Franco-Prussian War, they went and worked with the nursing. They both caught the plague. You know, the rats and the mosquitoes killed more people in that war than this bullets did. And they nursed them. And then her uncle brought her up. And she was brought up by her uncle named Fonzo.
Oh.
And she said she was treated better than her own parents would have. But and the argument came up that they always took her side, you know.
Oh, yeah.
My mother had a good education. She always going to she wanted to teach school, but the kids came one after another, you know. She never got to it. But the history of my parents is very vague. I know my father's father, my grandfather, was an army officer. He was a career officer, and when he got a certain age, they retired him and put him in charge of a section, some kind of a section. I wanted kind of vague, and retired him. My father was the youngest in the family, and my grandfather hit the bottle. Being an army man, you know, he drank. And they migrated from one place to another. My father didn't have the chance to get to school that the rest of the kids did.
Oh.
And my uncle was very well educated. But my father, no. I have to think of some more.
Okay.
Well, my folks left Iowa and moved to the prairies in North Dakota, and his brother and brother-in-law came along, so there was 3 of them. And I don't know if some of the older children went on the trip by wagon to North Dakota or not, but my mother and the little kids were all on the train, and I was 3 years old. And we got to the prairies in North Dakota, and there was, I guess my dad had already built a shanty there, and each one of them had built a shanty to live in, and it was very small. We couldn't take all these kids, but we stayed in the other's house when they weren't there.
They did what you call, I don't know, they settlers.
Settled in there, and they were given 80 acres apiece for moving there.
Oh.
I don't know what you call it right now, but anyway, they had to live there for so long to get the land free. And then there was, when we got there, well, then there was all prairie, and I think they brought some horses and some cows along, and chickens probably, and things like that. So and some of much of their stuff they could bring. And then there were all these sod houses around that people had moved there that couldn't afford to build houses and built sod houses. And I've been in some of them. They look real nice. They had it all fixed up and everything. So there were buffalo hollows there, and buffalo heads all over the place. And we found a lot of the Indian, what do you call them? Arrowheads there. When we dug around when we were herding cows, we were sitting around there digging around the stones there on the hills.
Yeah.
There were a lot of buffalo wallows.
We used to run around in the buffalo hollows there after a rain, and it was nice and smooth, soft, and running around there in bare feet. I guess that's what it takes care of it for a while.
Tell me about this war business.
Oh, I was in the draft in both world wars.
Yeah.
And I passed the army. The man that passed me, looked at me. He said I had the best pair of eyes he's ever encountered there.
So you were supposed to go.
I was in the draft. I was drafted.
Yeah.
I was supposed to go tomorrow morning.
Now that was World War I.
World War One.
Yeah.
And I was all packed. And Emma gave me a watch, a wristwatch, and everything. And then it was the war was canceled.
Then it was over.
Yeah.
So you never went.
No, I never even got out of town.
What happened with the draft World War II?
Well, I had a register for the draft, but I was never drafted.
You were too old or something?
Too old then already.
Yeah.
But I had a register for the draft.
Okay, now I want you to tell me about how you got here from Marshfield. You were working in the furniture factory in Marshfield.
Yeah.
But Emma
talked me
into coming here.
And my mother kind of agreed because my father was picking on me, kind of picking on me.
Yeah.
Because, well, I guess I won't tell you this, but I was going to tell you.
Oh, but that's
Is it on now?
yeah.
Turn it off.
Charlie found you a job then.
He found me 3-4 jobs.
Yeah.
When he died, made out his will. He says his will, that Bill doesn't need him. He said I got him plenty of jobs,
Oh, is that right?
So he didn't cut me out of his will. I guess he gave Clara bought a new car after that. He wanted to marry Clara. Well, I was working in the factory there. One factory was head patcher, and I almost beat Rhodes up.
Head patcher. What's patcher?
Well, patcher
For what?
on veneer.
Oh.
The veneer would come out cracked, and we'd have little brads and draw that together and put paper over it and papers,
Well, is this in Marshfield still?
Marshfield,
Oh,
yeah.
oh.
Then I had that fight with the Rhodes, so I went to another factory, a furniture factory, and worked. And when I left there, I was the head man next to the boss's job. I was only a kid too. And I beat the heck out of him, like a guy, a big, tall guy. I was making drawers for counters, drawers for store counters. At that time, they were all wood, And I used to make them too fast for him. He was putting the bottoms in and straightening them up in a little press and putting the bottoms in. And I'd have some drawers piled all over, and then I'd go and help another guy. He didn't like this. So he said something to me, and I had to go past his bench to get some bottoms and sides for the drawers. And I put my thumb in my mouth, and he threw something at me.
Oh.
through, something at me, and I put my pile of stuff down, and I went back to him, and I said, what do you mean, what did you do that for, you know, and he said, you little so-and-so, he's going to kick me around. So we started to fight. He was a big, tall guy. And I got him his head in my arm, and I pumped punches into him. He was off for a week after I got through with it. But I could hit. I always could hit hard.
Oh.
At the punching bag, they had punching bag in.
At Riverview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go there. There'll be some guys around there. One guy says, boy, don't ever hit me like that. You know, because I could have put that thing lay around and they hit that hard.